early on, I decided that I never wanted to be average or, blend in. So I needed to do something to stand out, to, leave like a legacy,
Sure.
behind every time I left to the next, moved on to the next duty station. So that's kind of what my challenge was, to create something or to leave something with my name on it behind so they would remember me when I left. So that's what I did.
Battle Line podcast. We have a great interview for you guys that you are not going to want to miss with Master Sergeant Erinn Watkins,
Mhm.
author of the book Pathfynder. We cover a lot of categories. We cover a lot of territory, and yeah, she's actually someone very passionate about veterans' mental health, and that ties into our sponsor Ned, because Ned is very passionate about veterans' mental health with their supplements, and even for myself as a civilian, their supplements are all great for mental health. If you are someone who's interested in trying CBD, I have to let you know, not all CBD is created equal, truthfully. When you go with Ned, you're getting a full spectrum hemp that's made right here in America, in Colorado. And all of their stuff is great, whether it's the mellow magnesium or if you want to try their relief balm, if you have any problematic areas, any joints or, muscle stiffness or any of that, that stuff works wonders. And they've just been great to us. They've been with us since pretty much the very beginning of this podcast, and we really appreciate it. Even with the company, the smaller company, getting bought out by a bigger parent company, since the last time Rhett was on, and they've continued to support us. So it really means a lot. Check them out. HelloNed.com, HELLONED.com/battleline, and you'll get 15% off as a first-time customer when you check them out. That's HelloNed.com/battleline. With that, let's get right over to Erinn Watkins.
From Kansas City to New York City, from planet Earth to extraterrestrial life in space, a podcast with no equal, engaged in unconventional warfare through your speakers and headphones. This is a show about embracing the suck, conquering your demons, and finding God in the face of adversity. Chris Tonto Peranto.
Switch is on. Motherfucker, I'm gonna shoot you in the face.
Ian Scotto.
Ian and I have been dating for a long time.
You are now tuned into the Battle Line Podcast.
The Switch is on, Battle Line podcast, and really honored to be joined by this guest because actually Erinn originally I knew about because she interacts a lot with our Facebook page. And then I went to Erinn's profile and it was like, okay, not only is she a 30-year military veteran, Army Master Sergeant and Pathfinder, but you also have a book out. You're also the author of this book, Pathfinder, How I Use Personal Courage and Emotional Control to Face Fear, build Success, and Get What I Want. And I mean, yeah, you've done a lot. 30-year career. I don't know where we'll get started, but
And she
it's
was
an honor to have you
a
on.
dancer, and she
And a
dances.
dancer.
She cuts a rug, man. Yeah. I do want to talk about that too. I mean, that's cool, and I saw the line dancing, but that's all I got in as far as I got in the book. I didn't know if you do anything else, but we'll get into that. Yeah. So that's
Okay.
cool. Yeah, that's cool.
So I think that like natural place to start really, and I know it's going back a number of decades, but the cool thing about doing this
You
show and
don't say that
interviewing,
to a woman. What's
it
wrong with
says
you? Don't say,
30-year
you don't
veteran. If
say
you're a
that.
30-year
What the
veteran, you've
heck?
been in the Army for 30 years, which are decades. But
There
so
you
anyway,
go.
getting into the origin story, though, I was going to say the cool thing about doing this show is that you really learn that everybody has a different reason for why they join the
Yeah.
military. Like we've had guys on who it is all about the patriotism, and then we have other people on who are like, "Look, I wanted a college education. This was my ticket to that." So everybody kind of has a different story. What was your reason for joining the Army?
Well, initially after high school, I decided I wanted to fly jets, and I was going to go to the Air Force Academy. Um, and when I took the physical, I discovered that I had 7 wisdom teeth, and they wanted me to get them removed before I joined. So I joined the Army to get it done for free.
Is that
And
Wow.
possible? I mean, come on. I had there's four. Right? Where the other
yeah,
where
I
the
had
others?
3 on one. I had 3 on one side, 4 on the other.
And
And
that's a
every time,
disqualifier. That's a disc. I didn't know that.
I guess it was, I didn't know any different. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So tell, I mean, honestly, tell us about that. I'm just curious on yeah, on the wisdom. Did you have them all pulled? I've had mine pulled, and yeah, that's rough. I mean, chipmunk spitting up blood, and if you had 7 of them, and did that take you out of the military?
Actually, no, actually, I had one side done, and then later on, I had the other side done when I was in Germany. So it wasn't too bad.
So it wasn't during basic training. It wasn't during
No,
AIT, because that would have been, yeah, that would have been.
no.
I don't think people
It
understand
was
the minimal stuff. Like you got to go through the.
correct. So that was just to go to the Air Force Academy, but to join the military, it wasn't an issue.
Gotcha. So you went in and basic training. Well, the Air Force. So there's still 3 other branches out there, and you still got the Marine Corps. Of course, the Army, and you got the Navy. What made you decide to go the Army route?
I think because my mother was in the Army, and I
Ah.
had more familiarity with Army lingo, Army rank, that kind of thing. So
Did she
I
ever
went
push
that
you to
way.
go that? Did she ever push you to go in, or was there any pressure to say, "Hey, join the military"? I was in the military, or did you grow up in a military culture, having your mother be, former Army?
I did. Well, because my mother was already in the military, already in the Army. I had that experience with her, but she never, neither her nor my dad pushed me to join the Army or the military at all. I just knew what I wanted to do and just went for it.
Oh, that's cool. Now
Yeah.
going on, you join. Well, start at the MEPS. A lot of us have our story at the MEP station, just going through and processing, and then getting on the bus and heading out. And back then, you what was that? You joined in the '90s, correct? But
Yep.
and forgive me for getting the date,
Yep.
the exact date right. But it was different then too. I mean, I joined the '90s. It's gotten easier, and it was easier. It was harder before us too. It does. Guys, you can say all you want, but it gets easier every year. It does. But yeah, how was that? And that was, you're going in, and where was your first, where's your basic training at? Where are you headed to? It says in the book, but please,
Mhm.
please tell us
Yeah.
where it was at.
I went to Fort Jackson, and actually I was kind of sort of running away from home. So but I got there, and the whole experience was easy to me. It wasn't anything compared to what I thought, because you see, military movies and the
Oh
drill
yeah.
sergeant. None of that applied. I was just it was just fun. Even the physical portion was easy for me. I had natural upper body strength, so push-ups were never a problem. But I can tell you a story when we left the MEPS area, and it was time for us to go to our barracks for the first time. You know how you have that one time you carry all your stuff into the building.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I remember. Yeah.
yep. So I get up there, and we're all standing in open bays, standing next to our bunks, and I happen to be on the end of the row. And the drill sergeant is going down the line to each female and just yelling at them and giving them, the rundown. So I'm
Yeah.
standing there, and I'm waiting for my turn. So he gets next to me, and it dawns on me that he's shorter than I am.
And
He
how
was
tall are
Puerto
you? How
Rican,
tall are
wasn't
you?
he? He was Puerto Rican,
Oh my
wasn't he?
God.
Those dang little Puerto
Oh my
Rican drill
God.
sergeants.
Nah, no, it's white guy, white bald head guy. His name was Drill Sergeant Lanier.
How
I'll never
tall are
forget
you
Drill Sergeant.
for reference, Aaron? How
Huh?
tall are you? How tall are you for
Fi-
reference?
5'1". I'm
Oh
five
wow, I'm
one,
shorter
and
than you.
Wow,
Wow.
wow.
yes,
Uh,
So as much as you're laughing right now, it was my turn. And as soon as he gets in front of my face, I just busted out laughing on the spot.
Yeah, you're dead. Yeah, you
Oh
don't
my
do
God.
that.
I was so dead. So, I paid for it, did my push-ups, and
Yeah.
I didn't laugh anymore after that. So, but it was
Yeah,
still good. It was still good.
it's those stories, man. Because at the time, just they're some of them are miserable, and some of them are, you don't realize how comical a lot of those stories are at the time, and that is comical. I wish I could have saw that. I'd have been laughing too. Like, and you can't stop. That's the thing is you can't. I was never a laugher in basic training, but I had my there's always laughers. You must have been a laugher. And you guys
Yeah.
cannot stop laughing. It doesn't matter if there's a nuclear bomb going off, if you want to laugh, you're going to keep laughing. And I remember you'd make everybody, we hated you because you guys would make everybody pay. Everybody would need to
Oh
pay.
my God. Yeah. I even laughed coming out of the gas chamber. It was just,
Wow.
yeah, I never took anything seriously. So, it's
Well,
like,
that's
okay,
what
Is that
whatever.
what got you through it?
Um, I think I just well, yeah, didn't take things personally. I tackled, obstacles, whatever the challenge, I just dealt with it. And I was always like that since I was little. So me and my sister, we just had to do it.
You just did it.
So
Well, that's definition. If people ask, well, what does embracing the suck mean? Well, that's what it means. You're
yeah,
just
that's
you
it.
take it in and you enjoy it. You have fun with it. You do your best to have fun with it. And when you
Yes.
can turn it into laughter, it does make it easier.
Yeah.
The Ranger Battalion is really the same way. Just a bunch of jackasses laughing, getting punished daily, and just laughing and enjoy because you are enjoying it. It is fun. And now you're looking back at it 30 years later and you're like, man, that's a great story. That's hilarious. Something mundane and but you're laughing and it makes me laugh. And I'm sure there's people out there laughing as well. So a short little white drill sergeant coming and barking in your
Oh,
face.
yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. It
Now,
was nothing compared to the movies.
I wish mine was. No, I got beat down. No, they beat Benning in the '90s. They were. I can't say that. Granted, we laughed a lot, and yeah, but no, the first day a kid got hit, just smack. Literally, this desk. It was like, holy shit, what's going on? But it was good. I had no problem with that. I had no. I mean, I have no problem with it. I didn't. It scared the bejesus out of me, but. I got
Right.
it, man. I understand what's going on. This is what's supposed to happen. Now you're going through Action Jacksons. You got through Fort Jackson. You're getting through that. Did you do your AIT there, or did you move off? Because and actually didn't ask you what was your MOS? What was your job when you did enlist? And that kind of tells us what base you're going to go to next after for AIT.
Yeah, so when I took the ASVAB, I did pretty well, so I could pretty much choose what I wanted. But my mother suggested I do admin because that was supposed to be a good field, and
She
I
just
didn't know
wanted you to
anything.
be safe. Mom, come on. She just wanted you not to. She was already nervous that you're going in, and she just wanted you to like, oh, God, my daughter's gonna be safe. She's gonna be getting an admin in S1. She's gonna be fine, fine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it was good. I did well in admin. I did really good in school anyway. I was a, top, honors and all that stuff. So when it came to the work, the school work or the class work, I was really good. I was a perfectionist. So I tended to score high. I, graduated
Sure.
top, distinguished graduate, that kind of stuff. So yeah, all that stuff was pretty much easy.
Because it was so easy though, did you feel fulfilled or did you feel like you needed to? Because after your tour's done or your initial time in, you can change MOSs and reclass. Was that on your mind, or did you fit? Did it feel like it fit and you were in the right direction and you're starting to bloom and move up in rank and so you're going to stay in that MOS?
Yeah, the HR portion didn't bother me. I just made the best of it. And early on, I decided that I never wanted to be average or blend in. So I needed to do something to stand out, to leave like a legacy
Sure.
behind every time I left to moved on to the next duty station. So that's kind of what my challenge was, to create something or to leave something with my name on it behind so they would remember me when I left. So that's what I did.
And that kind of gets perfectly into one of the main points of the book, that you were one of the first female Pathfinders for the Army. So I think for the audience, which I think is, it's like half civilian like myself and half military, if you can get into what is a Pathfinder and then uh, your trip to becoming one of the first female Pathfinders.
Yeah, sure. So I was stationed in Germany, and my next duty station was supposed to be Texas. I decided I didn't want to go to Texas, and moved to Georgia on leave. And because I wanted to stay in Georgia, somehow I got the idea that I could find the nearest base and sign in. And I don't think you can do that now, but that's what I did. So I went down to Fort Benning.
You can't be unattached. Yeah, you're doing unattached. You're doing the old unattached. I am not attached to any unit,
Right?
command. Yeah, I don't think they can do that anymore. They'll let college kids not finish their career and they'll transfer to a new school, but you can't go to a new unit if you want to. They're gonna let you
Right.
do
But
it.
yeah, so I got that. I get these bright ideas sometimes, but that was one of them. So I get to Fort Benning and sign in, and I had to wait for orders. So that took about 30 days. And my orders sent me to the airborne school, 507.
Sure.
And I didn't know anything about, airborne I had no idea, like none. So I get there and they tell me I have to wear a beret. I'm like, okay, I'll wear a beret. I am not jumping out any planes.
It looks cool. It looks cool. I mean, hey, put that thing on. That sucker looks good.
Yeah, so it was good. And I didn't plan on going to airborne school. I wasn't jumping out any planes, but I decided I missed out on jump pay. And that was my incentive to go. And what was crazy was, so I worked in S1. So all the black hats, they had to come to S1 for stuff. And so they had bets to see whose company I was coming to. And I ended up going to Alpha Company. And my drill sergeant from basic training was also my airborne instructor.
Oh, wow.
And yeah. So I get there. Yeah. So I get there and I think I can, just kind of sneak in, blend in, sit in the back, just get through it. No. They called me out day one. Where's 070? Because you have your roster number. Where's 070? And I'm like, oh God, they all know I'm here now. And oh my gosh, they got me so good the whole time I was there. I would have visitors, and every time you had a visitor, you had to do push-ups. So I would have like a line instructors that would come and see how I'm doing. So for each one, I had to do push-ups. So I took that as a way of, improving my fitness.
Sure.
So I just did it. But I ended up being the enlisted honor graduate for my class in airborne school. So that worked out.
And the black hats, there's some that are just complete assholes, and there's some that are really, really good. But you working there, I get in there and I get out, and then we go to Ranger. The black berets come down and announce the tambres, and they run us off, and we're out of there. We want to be out. Like, it's done. Let's get out to the next. But if you're there, what's the difference that you felt between being a student at the airborne school, but then also being PCS? Basically, you're working there, because there's a lot of things that go on, and a lot of things we hear behind the scenes with black hats, and hey man, you were there. What went on behind the scenes? Divulge what you can, but I'd like to know, because it's a different animal when you're at 507 than when you're just a student going through, because you're in and out, especially if you're going to Ranger Battalion. I'm done, I'm out, we left.
Right.
Can you have any stories behind the scenes when you're being PCS there?
Oh yeah. So when I first got there, for some reason they used to and not all of them, but some of them, when they came in the S1, they would crack jokes on me. Just how whatever the smack talk, it was a lot of that. And I was a very reserved, quiet, didn't really talk too much kind of person. But a year of that, and they didn't stop. I was like, okay, game on, let's do it. So every now and then they would come in and I'd give them my good old gut punch. And after a while they started leaving me alone. So it was good by the time I got into school.
Get you thick skin. You gotta, it teaches
Yeah,
you that you have to get thick skin and you can't take things too seriously. It's a
right,
joke. You got to be able to joke and
right,
banter back. Don't take it personal.
right,
If it's
right.
personal, you'll know it's personal. But yeah, I
Mhm.
again, and that's honestly what I was getting at more than anything was that the ability to develop thick skin. So
Yes.
it's the lighten up Francis from Stripes. Lighten up Francis, man. Yeah,
If it's
we're
okay,
Yeah.
just kidding.
I just want to make sure I go back to my original thing here before we get
Oh, we're
off
getting on.
script.
That's me.
But
That's what I do.
no, it's
I
okay. I
take
just
us
want to
off
make
path,
sure that
man.
we get into what a Pathfinder is and then becoming a Pathfinder.
My fault.
Okay.
My
So
fault, Master Sharp. My fault.
yeah,
All right, sorry.
sure, sure. Yes, sir. I finished airborne school and I was like, okay, what else can I do? And then there was Pathfinder school. And by the time I got to the 507th, the first female had just graduated. And
Wow.
I had, so this was in 1990. A Pathfinder is a soldier or a military person who goes into the battle ahead of the command unit, and they set up the battlefield to receive um, helicopters, troops, equipment, drops, things like that. So we learned how to set up LZs, helicopter pickup zones, drop zones, things like that. When I went, it was a 2-week course. And they were talking about extending it another week because the failure rate was so high. When I finished, we started with 30 something people and finished with about 15. Um, I learned about the animosity about females being in the presence of, because they call it a gentleman's course. But I didn't take that as anything. I didn't care. But I got there, and the first week was okay. The guys pretty much, went to class, went home, cordial, that kind of thing. But the first week was where we lost half the class. The test portion was inspection of expedient air items, and you had to inspect sling loads. And I remember you can only miss so many gigs, and gigs are deficiencies in the equipment. And I was going through and missing one per station. I'm like, shoot, I'm running out of gigs to lose. And I get to this one station, and this the instructor, and I knew him because he comes in the S1, and he's like, joking around, you're not gonna find these gigs. And I'm like, yeah, right, sure. And he was serious. He was not joking. He's like, you're not gonna say it real serious. You're not gonna find these gigs. It's like, all right, bet, game on. So you have to know, not only find the gigs, you have to know the proper nomenclature. And I was good at memorizing, so no big deal. So I went through a station, found everything, moved on to the next thing. The following week, we went out to the field, and this was our where we had to do the practical exercise. So we had to apply what we had just learned the week prior. So we get out there. Oh my goodness. So we get out there, and I noticed there's a truck that's meeting us at every mission, because each person has to take a turn leading the mission so they can test out. So you had a team leader and assistant team leader. And I'm thinking, okay, we got this truck. Why am I? Because you have your gear that you bring with you to sleep in, but you only bring what you want to bring. And there was no packing list. You just bring whatever. So, I had a shelter half, tent pegs, little stuff, sleeping bag. And so we're going through the missions, and everything's going great. Everybody's testing out. We ended up not finishing the first day, so we had to sleep overnight. And so the next day, let me back up. So the truck that's meeting us at every mission, I decided to leave my gear on the truck because I didn't need it when we set up our mission. So why am I carrying it? That was made sense to me.
And that was what
So
you decided to take. It wasn't a packing list.
yes.
So basically,
Mm-mm.
you took too much. And you're like, shit, what am I doing? Okay, gotcha. I thought you're getting rid of your
Yeah.
packing list. Like, oh my, you getting rid of your packing list.
No.
Okay,
They
gotcha.
say if we sleep out, you bring what you want to sleep in. And there was no requirement to bring whatever.
Gotcha.
You didn't even need it. Yeah. So I left my stuff on this truck that was meeting us at every mission. So why am I carrying it? So the next day, we get up and I'm noticing the tension amongst the other students against me. And I'm like, hey, what the hell? We was cool yesterday. What happened? And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I know my turn is coming. Just make me the assistant so I can just get through this. And they made me the team leader. And the meanest guy out there was my assistant. I'm like, oh, shoot. All right, here we go. And you get timed, you got your mission, and they were dragging feet. Like collectively, all of a sudden, when it was my turn, they all decided collectively to drag feet. I'm like, what the hell? And two of the guys noticed it and they started trying to help me more, but I didn't make the time. So I ended up failing. So I told the instructors, like, look, you saw what they did, you need to fix it. I don't know if I said those words, but something to that effect. I presented the issue, you deal with it and resolve it. So they ended up letting me retest once we got back, and I passed. Still, that wasn't enough. We had to take the written portion, and you start off with 1,000 points. You have all these formulas you have to know, and you can't use any notes. But I was good at memorizing, so I didn't care. So I get through the test, passed everything, and it was time to take the class photo. And so I'm standing around just chit-chatting, and one of the guys asked me, aren't you taking a class photo? I'm like, what you talking about? Where? And they're outside, all lined up, didn't tell me. So, right. So in the photo, that's why I'm standing on the end by the door, because I had just hopped in to get in the photo.
So you just
Do you still have this picture?
What? Yeah, because it wasn't in the book. I didn't see. Wait.
Is that in there?
Wait, there it is. Wait, yeah, Pathfynder.
It's in there. Okay.
Yeah, she's right there. She's right there. It is at the end there. Yeah.
That's why I'm on the end.
There it is, right there at the end.
That's funny.
Yeah, was there? I mean, it sounds like a conspiracy. There was a conspiracy to, and to not allow. Was it just a personal thing? Did they get together? I mean, because you're going back to your units. They're from different units as well. And I get in the night. I'm the same kind of guy. I'm like, I'm a man. Hey, I'm a man. I'm an alpha, whatever. But that doesn't preclude me from not helping somebody that has the ability to pass, at least not doing my part. In fact, being a man, that's the definition of you do your part. You do what's expected of you. You don't sacrifice your integrity to hurt somebody else just because you don't like them or whatnot. But why do you think they did that? And I did. I caught that part. I did. I skimmed it. I'm not gonna lie. I read the whole thing. I skimmed it. All right, but I did skim it. But what was there something personal? Was it because you're a female and you're one of the initial ones going through? Or do you think that was it? Was it because you threw the bags on the truck and you got something happened? You got caught, man, and they smoked your guys' asses up because you had bags on the truck. I mean, what do you think the reason was, or was there just a multitude of reasons throughout, or was there something personal? Maybe there was something personal where the guy wanted to take you out and you rebuffed him, or you did, or vice versa. You want to take somebody out and he said no. I don't.
Okay.
But and that's where I was like, man, yeah, because that's a dickish thing to do, and I don't care if you like somebody or not. You put your best foot forward regardless.
Right.
So
actually, the fact that I was putting my gear on the truck, that rubbed some of them the wrong way.
Well,
and one of the guys
they
told
could
me,
have put their stuff on the truck.
Yeah, right. Nobody said they couldn't. Nobody, they could work smarter, not harder, right?
Yeah.
But one of the guys told me that that's what happened. That's what they were saying about me because I didn't pull my weight, which my gear has nothing to do with the missions. Nobody missed out because I wasn't carrying my rucksack. I carried the equipment I was required to carry, and but that's about as far as I thought about it. I didn't dwell on it. It's just, nice to know. I didn't care if I knew or not. My badge looks the same as theirs, so I didn't dwell on it at all.
Why not? You just screw it past. Let's move forward. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
us move forward.
that was pretty
And
much it.
and that's exactly why I asked you, was there a packing list? I'll be honest, if there was a packing list and you hiked your packing list, yeah, I'd have been pissed at you. But I wouldn't have dragged feet. I would have been, hey, go get your shit. That's our packing list. But if it
Yeah,
wasn't a packing list and you adjust Gunny Sergeant Highway, you adjusted and
yeah,
adapted and you put on the truck, and
right. So
that's
this is
okay.
this is what it was. The day before we went out there, we go into the supply room and they'll say, "Okay, well, what do you want?"
Sure.
And you just pick what you want to take with you, and that was it.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah,
Well, that is a good story about perseverance, though, and just not letting the little things get to you because you let something like that get to you, you're not going to pass. And Pathfinder is a
right.
difficult, it's mentally
Yeah.
difficult, of course, to do. Back then, yeah, there was a lot of people that were. I was just a private, and I wasn't going nowhere at that when you were going through. I was like probably I was an E2 or something at the time, but back then in those 90s, you'd hear the horror stories about Pathfinder, nobody quit and nobody passing, and it was, well, is it physically hard? No, it's a gentleman's course, which for those of y'all that don't out there,
Right.
this means it's a nice course. There's no smoking. It doesn't mean it's just for gentlemen for everybody out there. It just means it's
Right.
you get to go home at night. You get to go home on the weekends
Right.
if but
Yeah.
people were failing and it was because it was the memorization
Right.
and
Which I was
yep,
good at.
yeah, yeah, which you're blessed to be there. So now you finished. What was it like going back to your unit? Because that is still one of the prettiest badges in the military. It on Class A's, it's still damn sharp. That thing is sharp as hell. But what was that like when you graduated and then when you went back to did you go back to 507? Is that where you headed back to, or did you get reassigned?
Yeah, I was still at the same unit, and I ended up going from the S1 to work at Jump Branch, and I became
No.
a supply sergeant at Jump Branch. Yeah.
Did you get any of those guys come back through that beat feet that short feet you at Pathfinder so
No,
you could maybe mess with their supply when they come to get come to get
no,
stuff?
and I was always a killing with kindness kind of person. So I wasn't a vengeful, get back at people for anything. Um, for most of the time, I just I'll take care of you. This is how I'm gonna get back at you. I'm gonna show you that I'll take care of you despite how you treated me. I was that kind of person.
Yeah, so you're a better person than me.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Hey, hope you guys are enjoying this interview with Erinn Watkins. Really covered a lot of ground here. But before we continue, Fort Scott Munitions is a manufacturer of multi-federal patented solid copper and brass CNC spun ammunition. It's designed to tumble upon impact in soft tissue, leaving devastating wound channels for faster bleed out and quicker incapacitation. This ammo was originally developed to innovate and improve on the standard of military grade ammunition design. It was found that not only did the TUI ammunition outperform competitors in the self defense industry, but it quickly became apparent that it would be a top contender for hunters alike. With the ammunition being CNC spun, the tolerances are some of the tightest on the market, ensuring that you receive the same results with each pull of the trigger. Fort Scott Munitions is available throughout all 50 states, but you're going to get the best deal through us when you go to fsm.com and use the promo code BattleLine. You'll get 15% off all the great ammo there. Really doesn't matter, as you know, like what you're shooting with. They pretty much have
Yeah.
everything. If you
Yep.
don't see it there right away, it'll be back in stock at some point usually. So it's fsm.com, promo code BattleLine for 15% off. That's on ammo. I know like some of the other stuff might not be 15% off, but if you're getting ammo and some of the other gear there, you will
Yep.
get that just for being a listener. Fort Scott Munitions is a proud supporter of Chris Peranto, Battleline Tactical, and the Battleline Podcast. And with that, let's get right back to Erinn Watkins.
Yeah, I know. I've got a few more, but Ian, I know I'm
Oh
kind of
yeah, well, one
monopolizing.
thing I was wondering was, anybody who looks at your Facebook page, which you're very active on, you're someone who definitely is a patriot, and it's stuff that you post about regularly. I'm wondering, when you were in the military in those early years, was that your mentality, or did that come about with a 30-year career that you're just someone who's patriotic? When did that come about?
Um, I was naturally patriotic. I think it developed even more so after 9/11. Because at the time I was living in Nashville, I had left flight school, and I was working at Dell Computers. And as soon as 9/11 happened, I decided to go back into the military because it was some things that happened in between there, but I was a civilian at the time, and I felt deeply that I needed to go back in and defend my country, and support the mission, whatever that mission was. So I quit my job at Dell and I joined the Tennessee Guard, and um, they started this thing called civil support teams, which were rapid response teams that responded to WMD incidents. And I didn't know anything about it, but I thought, I needed a job. It was an admin position, so I'll do it. It was so much work. It was a lot of work, but it was so good because the guys I worked with, they were so awesome. They treated me just like another person. What I looked like wasn't a thing. Um, they were just a really great group of guys, and I took care of them. They took care of me. Um, there's a little story. I used to keep Brock's candy corns on my desk during the day, and they could tell how good my day was going by how many candy corns were still left in the jar. And if I was having a bad day, I'll kill the whole jar before lunch. So yeah. So I would go on, TDY to trips, training trips or whatever, and I would come back and my jar was always full. I'm like, that's nice. What I didn't know was they were eating my candy while I was gone, and they made sure it was full with the right brand because all brands of candy corn don't taste the same. So
I
they
would
paid
know
that much
that.
attention. That was, it was good. They told me that like years later. I didn't know.
There's
Uh,
been so many guys on the show, and women. Actually, it's really more guys in this regard, though, who did rejoin post 9/11. And I think it's like when you look back at that time, because I remember, the year following 9/11, the country as a whole, I feel like was in such a better place in terms of unity and everyone on the same page. And I think we've
Mhm.
we've lost a great deal of that.
Yeah, I think so too. And I didn't realize how much of a toll that would have on me until I left the Army. Finally, at the end of my career, I was just so angry and felt so betrayed about how I was being treated that I couldn't tolerate the national anthem. I hated the flag. I hated people. I hated happy people, especially. If you were smiling, laughing, I hated your guts. I couldn't stand you. What is there to be happy about? And it turns out that I figured out it was me. It was me internally being angry, um, that I couldn't be as happy as they were. So that was something that I had to work on for myself.
But where did that stem from?
Well, the different units I was in, remember I told you I was essentially trying to be great. I knew I was great. I knew I had such a high opinion of myself. People didn't realize, but my head was like magnificent, on my shoulders. I had that much of a positive opinion of myself. And I didn't show it, but inside that's how I felt. And because I always knew I wanted to create whatever this great, wonderful thing was to leave behind, I was going to leave behind a legacy. I had to set that aside once the hostile work environment started happening. So whatever the, uh, whoever it was giving me a hard time, I would have to set aside my greatness to deal with this toxicity.
Do
And
you
then
think
once I dealt with that,
no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Master. I'm sorry.
yeah. So once I dealt with that, then I could get back to my greatness. And what was making me so angry is that I never got a chance to see how great I could get. And I knew I was getting there. I just couldn't quite reach the greatness that I thought I had. And even though I accomplished so many things, I did so much, it still wasn't enough. To me, it wasn't enough. I still had I had work to do. I had work to do, and these people were preventing me from doing my work. So, and it was like they were challenging my intelligence. I couldn't stand it. I'm like, okay, you think you're doing this, whatever this thing is to me. All right, watch. You just sit tight. I would never tell them, what I'm doing, but I would always just strategize and deal with it. But that was a lot of negative energy, and I hated negative energy. So having to do that and then, find time to get back to my greatness, that made me really angry.
Well, you feel like you're wasting time. And was that from your command structure? Was there a lot that where you're having just and we all you were in there a lot longer than I was. So you had to deal with a lot
Mhm,
more than I did. But you're dealing with
mhm.
the command structure and it very rarely the units, and I'll be honest with people out there, do you and the command mesh? You're not supposed to. The command's supposed to be there to kind of be dickish at times because so if you ever do get where it meshes, just know that you're extremely lucky, and that doesn't always happen, and it doesn't always happen. And I'm not saying in a bad way in the regular army compared to the special operations community because of just the people you're around. So, and I read some of that. I got some of that out when I read the book and the command. When you saw that though, and you dealt with it, can you give somebody, if they're going through that right now, just one good pointer? How to,
Oh,
man, I'm pissed off. I just want to spit bullets. But then you went back to your desk
yeah,
I would just tell somebody to take a breath because that's just how simple I am.
yeah,
Can
right.
with your greatness, I'm living it up with your great. Can you give somebody a pointer? This is what you need to do because you still made. And I say still, I say that endearingly. Hate to tell you this, Master Sergeant, you still made E8. I mean, that's still pretty freaking
Yeah.
high in the military, even with so help someone out there. Like, what did you
Okay.
do when you ran in that roadblock and then you went back to your desk without eating a whole jar of candy corn and just continue to press forward?
Yeah. For one thing that was really, really helpful was not taking things personally. And I recognized that I was dealing with toxic people. And I also considered what are the things I can control and what are the things that I can't control and who's responsible for what? Who are the players? What can they do to me? What are my rights? That those are all the things that I always knew. Like, and I knew that and I was very, very detail oriented. And I recognized early on that the toxic people, they don't know details like I
No,
do.
they don't. Yeah, they don't. They don't. No, you got dates and times and everything, and they don't.
Oh,
They generally don't. No, you're right.
yes. And right. And I knew this. I knew very early on who I was as a person. I think I was maybe E4 at the time at the most. And I sat down and decided, define myself. Who am I? What kind of person am I? What defines me as Erinn Watkins? And once I decided on that, I believed it. And no one could tell me anything any different. And and it paid off. And I would test my theory all the time. I would I would just not let anyone deal with me any kind of way. if you're calling me a name, that's not my name. My name is not Erinn. My name is Master Sergeant. I'm not answering.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. And I had one time I tested this. I was in trouble again, and my commander, he was saying, all kinds of stuff that wasn't true. And he finally said, he said I was a poor excuse for a soldier. And this was me, the commander, the deputy commander, the ops officer, and the first sergeant. And the first sergeant was a female. So I'm sitting there, and he said that, and I smiled actually. And he got pissed off and kicked me out of his office. And to me, I won the battle. That was a mental battle. I don't know what he expected me to do, be mad or whatever, but
Did
I
he not
smiled
know
and I
that you
walked out.
smiled to the drill sergeant, the 4'7" drill sergeant? Did he not know that? He should have seen
I
that
had
in your
no idea.
201 file. There should have been a precedence right
Right,
there. You don't yell at her because she's just gonna laugh. So you can't, it ain't gonna do anything. And
right.
but man, how did you make it through? I actually I read that part, specifically that part, and
Mhm.
how did you not get just because they could have found a way to discharge it. I mean, it's not like you signed a 30-year contract. Your time's going to run
Right.
out. And then
Yep.
how did you manage to stay in that long? I mean, if when you got commanders that are not giving you good evals, those things get passed forward. And I mean, you
Right.
had to have gotten some. Basically, what I'm getting, you had to have gotten some good evals. You had to have gotten where she's like, hey, she's just too good. We may not like her, but she's just too good. We can't let her go, sort of. And that's what I was I was thinking. But you can say it on the show. You can expound on your greatness if that's what. But was that it, or just I just kept reading and go, man, how did she not get bumped out? How did that not happen
Right.
with the things that were going on? Um, and that's not a reflection on you. That's just a reflection on, man, the military has a lot of personalities, and I think people realize that. So,
Oh,
yeah, you're good. You're good.
sorry about
No, you're good. So, what do you think? What was your reason?
um well, for one thing, so after that commander kicked me out of his office, he wasn't done. He decided he was gonna recommend me for separation. And I decided that I'm gonna make him work for it. And so I decided to put together a rebuttal, and the rebuttal was about the size of an encyclopedia. And I took that and I made 5 copies. And I knew I needed to see the approving authority because remember, I'm HR, so somebody's got to approve it. My commander can only recommend. I needed to get to the approving authority. And that ended up being the adjutant general, attorney general of the New Jersey National Guard for the state of New Jersey. I needed him to see me in person so he can see who he was about to kick out of the military. And I went to my legal aid, um, and I walked in his office. Said, "Here, sir. Here's your copy. I'm off to see the general." And I turned around. And he said, "Wait a minute. Don't go anywhere. Let me make a few phone calls." And turns out I never got to the general. They reassigned me, and I ended up moving from there. And I got through it. But my objective was to make them prove what they were saying about me, make them put it in writing. If you're gonna say this to me that I'm this or that, you're gonna have to work for it. You have to put it in writing, and
Wow.
somebody's gonna have to tell me to my face that I don't deserve to be in the military, and I never got there. And that's because I knew who I was as a person, and he couldn't tell me any different.
Yeah, that's awesome. And by the way, once again, for everybody, this is all outlined in the book Pathfinder. So I really hope everybody picks this up. One thing about the book as well that people will notice, I know there's a story behind it. is that Pathfinder with the Y in Pathfinder is obviously not a misspelling. There's a reason that you put the Y, and it's something I know you speak about kind of regularly. If you can get into that, and now your camera flipped a little bit there, so now
Sorry.
you're sideways. I
You
don't know if
might
we
be
could.
Pathfinder qualified, but you are not
Yeah, there we go.
iPhone. You are not iPhone qualified.
So yeah,
You are not.
back to that though. So what
Not
was
at all.
so what was the story behind the Y in Pathfinder? Because I know you've gotten into that before.
Yeah, so the Y represents a decision point. I think once I got to Virginia, it dawned on me that a lot of things I was dealing with, I had to accept it for what it was and be able to deal with it. And to deal with it, to get what I wanted, I needed to make some hard decisions and some scary decisions. You know, things I didn't know what the outcome was going to be, but you know what? I'm gonna take this way and just see what happens. Because you don't know which way to go, really. You just do what makes sense, you know, using the best information you have at the time, and you go for it. The thing about it is that, you know, if you go for it and stuff still doesn't turn out, you still can't roll up into a ball and quit. You got to accept that too. And I learned that early on. I learned a lot. I was very mindful about not just myself, but also other people. And oh my gosh. So when I'm talking to someone, it could be a commander, it could be a colleague, a junior soldier, I'm looking at their mannerisms, and I'm looking for things that'll help me know that they're receiving what I'm telling them. So if you're my junior soldier and I'm telling you you need to do this, I need to know how you receive information. So if it's a female, I'm going to talk to her differently based on how I know her. Because I had a male and a female working for me. The female, I couldn't be hard on her the way I would be on the male, and I knew this. So I was doing that a lot. I was looking for body, facial expressions, body position, how they were standing, were they shaking their head, are they, you know, I was looking at all that, and based on what they're how they're reacting, I could figure out in my mind, what do I have to say to this person to get them to say yes? Because I'm looking for the head nod. That's what I called it, the head nod. So I'm thinking, okay, what can I say? Remember, like Terminator? That's what I was doing. Like, shoot, what can I say? And that's what I was doing. And I believed in myself. I knew I was great. This person was not smarter than me. And I went into every situation with that mindset. Also, this is something else I used to do. I used to sit at my desk and practice what a relaxed face felt like, because I knew I needed to be calm before I went into whatever the situation was. So I would sit at my desk and I would, you know, kind of straighten my face, and I kind of remembered, you know, memorize what that felt like. So by the time I got into the situation, I could tell, okay, I'm wrinkling my forehead. I need to relax my face. You know, if I was talking to my commander, I would say, okay, relax your face. But that's what I was doing. And if I'm calm and they're, you know, agitated, I can tell I'm winning. So, you know, that was kind of a gauge that I used, you know. So.
Yeah. So now I don't want to head bob anymore now. Head nod, because what she just said. I'm trying not to.
No, because the nodding is acknowledging that.
Oh yeah, I
you're
can
listening.
acknowledge. Okay, so it's not the wrinkly forehead.
Yeah.
I got a wrinkle. My face looks like a catcher's mitt from being out in the sun. I can't stop the wrinkles. I'm sorry, Erinn. It just ain't gonna happen. I got one more question for you. And actually, if we had, I wanted to be honest with you, I wanted to do like an Oprah interview and read my philosophy and ask you what you thought about each one of these things. You wrote it. Okay, give me an example. But we ain't got time. So I'm just going to pick one.
Oh,
All right, we got because you've got like 20 of them here, and that's good. The right at the beginning of my philosophy, it's like the foreword of the book is no, it's great. I mean, there's one sentence is here just to remind you, hey, keep pushing forward. But
yep.
the
Mhm.
thing is here is you do talk about greatness, you do talk about your confidence, but the what I want here is you do have a little bit of humility as well, because you have right here your
Yeah.
philosophy: ask for help and learn to accept help. Can you give
Yes.
me an example of that throughout, just one good example throughout your career? Because we have talked, this has been a lot of ego. It has, and that's good. We got to have egos
Mhm.
to be, we do. You got to have egos to be great. You do, whether you like it or
Right.
not, guys, everybody does. But you also have to have
Yeah.
some humility. And
Yeah.
for those out there, I want them to see it because you do as well. So give me a time that you asked for help and you accepted help.
Oh gosh, huge. Okay. So remember I said I was angry. I didn't know I was that angry. And by the time I got to Fort Bragg, I was at SWIC, which is Special Warfare Center
Special Wolfer.
School, where
Yep.
the so I was stationed there, and I went to my primary care, and she's recommended that I go to this counseling program called IOP, which is Intensive Outpatient Program. And I'm like, for what? She says, yeah, I just think you should go check it out. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And I thought it was going to be sitting around a circle singing Kumbaya. That's
Hmm.
literally what I thought. I'm like, I'm so not doing that. But she recommended I go, fine. Okay, I'll go. They can't say I didn't try. So that was my position. At least I tried. So I get there and they said I didn't have to talk. So I didn't, because I didn't think I had a problem. I'm like, whatever. So I get in there, and 30 days in, the light bulb came on. I'm like, oh, I get it now. And I got it so much that they extended me 2 more months. While I was on active duty, that was my place of duty, is in this counseling program, IOP, all day, every day
Were
for
you
three
just anger,
months.
just because of anger issues, and were you going through depression and
Angry,
things as well, or just anger, straight up anger?
anger. I didn't know I was depressed, which I ended up major depressive order. I'm 100% for that. PTSD. Um, had no idea I was that bad, but the humbling part was accepting that I needed help, and
Hmm.
accepting that, because I was a fixer and I could always fix everything. And I had to accept that I couldn't fix myself. That was humbling. Because all this time, all these years, because we're talking, I was at 17 years by then, 17, 18 years, and I could fix everything. No, it was further than that. It was 20 something. I could always fix everything until I couldn't fix myself. And that
Hmm.
was humbling.
You have to say
And
no. You have to say no every once in a while. It sounds like you weren't telling people I can't do this today. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what it sounded like.
right, it was recognizing that my plate was so full.
Yeah.
Had no idea, because it was normal for me to be doing so much. I mean, I listed this stuff in the back of the book. I didn't realize it was that much. And keep in mind that I still didn't think that was enough. I hadn't done enough. What else can I do to make them leave me alone? That was my position. Let me do something else great, so maybe they let me do my work. I had soldiers to train. I wanted to mentor soldiers to do what I was doing. And I felt obligated to share that. But so often it would be some idiot person. Can I say that?
Yeah, say
Uh,
whatever you
You say
want.
whatever
You
you
can you
want.
can use
Heck
whatever
yeah.
words you want.
We're far enough in. You can
yeah,
cuss now. YouTube won't demonetize us now. It's just at the beginning we can't cuss. You're right. We're good now.
yeah. I don't even sound right cursing, so I don't.
But you know what? I could
Yeah.
tell that you've made an amazing transformation in that, because I don't think anyone watching this interview or listening would say this seems like a person with anger issues. And it's like
Yeah.
that's a
Oh man.
testament to how far that you've come. And I know that mental health is an extremely important thing to you that you've discussed before. And yeah, I think the audience and I certainly appreciate you being vulnerable about it because I think a lot of people can relate. On another topic, which we mentioned at the very beginning of the interview, that I want to make sure you at least get into a little bit, is your passion outside of all of this is dancing,
Oh yeah.
and you have a dance YouTube channel. So where does that go back to? Is that pre-military? Because that seems like something that you still love doing.
Yeah, so when I got to Virginia, this is where I started fine-tuning resilience for myself. And I could say that now, I didn't know it at the time, but I recognized that I needed to do something different to help me deal with this toxic environment. And I came up with 5 things that I needed to do to help my body get me through this. And it was get enough sleep, eat right, drink water, have a hobby, and eat right, get enough sleep, have a hobby, drink water, and exercise. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So all those 5 things, and I recognized that when one of them was missing, I was slipping. So if I was
Yeah.
slipping at work, okay, what am I doing? I'm not getting enough sleep. And so the hobby for me was dancing. And I was already kind of a dancer-ish before I got there, before I joined the military, thanks to my mother. My sister used to dance, used to do the pop locking contest.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
she was
yeah.
really, yeah, that was my sister. And I was really good at performing, things like that. So I got into line dancing when I was in New Jersey. And I learned that you can't dance and be mad at the same time. You just can't do it. Yeah. So
That's
I
so true.
did
I didn't
that.
think about that. That's so true. You can't. Even when you're slam dancing, I've gotten a mosh pit. You can't. You're
Right.
still not angry, really. You're just throwing yourself
Right.
around. That's.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That is so feng shui. That is so you're Zen right there.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
philosophy according to Erinn right there.
Right.
I never thought of it.
Right.
Spot on.
So
Well
give your
done.
brain a break. Go dancing.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
cool. And you still do it. You still have a YouTube channel that pertains
Mhm.
to that. And then the other thing actually to get into is your son is a graduate of Embry-Riddle. So is your son a
Yeah.
pilot? What does he do?
He went there for engineering. He got a
Okay.
degree in
Wow.
human factors, and but he does graphic design and marketing for the university. When he graduated, he got a job there as a contractor for a year, and after the year, they created a position for him so he would stay. So he runs his own department at the university now.
So is he at the Daytona one or is he at the Arizona
Yeah,
one? He's at the Daytona one?
Daytona.
Nice.
Hmm.
He's living
Awesome
it,
place.
living. That's a nice
Yeah,
man. That's serious. That's a nice campus out there. They created a position for him to live in Daytona and work
yeah,
engineer. Yeah, he's living it up, man. That's awesome. Now, tell him
yeah.
congratulations, and it's a kind of a tie-in because Bub Glenn Doherty graduated. My teammate, he graduated from Embry-Riddle, but it
I
was
didn't know that actually.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah, it was from the Arizona campus out there, and
okay.
I thought that was a cool coincidence when I read that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
congratulations, and it was cool that you found a way to make it back for his graduation too. I mean, again, we'll leave it. I mean, I swear we've probably been through the whole book, but there's a short little chapter in there about that as well,
Mhm.
and how you managed to use we're just gonna say greatness. From here on out, how you managed to use your greatness to outfox your commander to get to your.
Oh,
But that's, I
yeah.
mean, to me, I read that. That's such a horror. Are you serious? What commander would not, unless we're crossing the border, we're going in, that we're starting the
Yeah,
mission, we're going to assault the objective.
yeah,
Come on, dude. Seriously?
right.
Get there. You got a
Yeah,
weekend, take your weekend or whatever. Take 3 days, get out there, 72 hours, get back. Cool. All right, we're
right.
good. The base will live without you, Master Sergeant. Go to your son's graduation. So yeah, I thought that was
Right.
a pretty, but No, I really, it was wonderful talking to you. And, we followed
I
each
do want
other
to
a
ask
bit
one other
but
thing,
I'm sorry. Ian's got you.
No, it's
I'm
all,
good,
I
but I
mean, because
appreciate it.
we're not going that long, so we're fine. But
Yeah, but I
unless you
got
have to
nothing.
go
I
or
don't know
something.
what I got
But
nothing else,
well,
but if Erinn wants to keep
yeah, the
talking,
other
you're welcome.
question that I had is, anybody who follows you once they said, like, look, this is obvious. You're very outspoken politically. Like, you go to your Facebook
Yeah.
page, you are posting what's going on, and you are
Mhm.
unapologetic about it. So I'm just wondering if there's something in politics next for you, whether it's like running for office
Oh,
or
yeah.
writing about politics, because that outside of dance, that seems to be your passion.
I've been asked to run several times, but I don't think people are ready for me. I'm better helping, being in the background and being supportive.
Well, what about like
Um,
run like as city commissioners, like starting as I think all politicians should start. If you're going to start, you start at the ground level,
mhm,
and you work in your city,
yeah.
and then your county, and then you move up.
Mhm,
Have you ever thought
mhm.
about that? And where would that be? Just so people know which, if they don't like you, to stay, out of your county. If you run for where you live right now, if you forgive me, and I forgive me because I don't know, Erinn. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, yeah,
Where is
I'm in Tennessee.
you're still in Tennessee?
I'm in Tennessee.
All right.
Hmm.
So would you I mean, is that something that you could, or or would you like more comfortable being an aide, being the power behind the throne, so to speak, I guess, is doing that.
Yeah, I think I'm better in a supportive role. I mean, I enjoy debating. I have a
Yeah,
lot of
you could
patience.
tell.
When
For
and
sure, yeah.
people ask, yeah, and I tend to when I retired, I decided I wanted to learn what I wanted to learn, and I kid you not, I never read so much in my entire life. I read books, PDFs, just articles all day, every day, from sun up to sun up. I was just reading. I was just absorbing so much stuff. So when I get into these debates, I start remembering stuff. I'm like, oh, you know. So, but
Do you ever get crap for being as politically outspoken as you are? I mean, I especially think of like today with the amount of identity politics, and especially like truthfully, right? You look at the last election, like you being a black woman, you standing where you
mhm,
stand. There's people who
mhm,
want to put you in a box as a black woman. Oh, you're
right,
obviously going to vote for Kamala Harris because you want to see the first black female president, which is like definitely not the case for
mhm.
you. So, I mean, do you ever just get shit from people just because of who you are and what your background is?
Yes, all the time, and I don't care. So when I was in Virginia, a lot of the friends that I had, they were all, on the East Coast. And I'm learning now that, most of them were Democrats, which I was at the time, so it wasn't a problem. But now that my positions have changed, they tend to disassociate, which is fine. I don't care. Um, the one thing about me is I could never be put in a box. And I did that on purpose because I never wanted people to, leaders in the military, I didn't want people to judge me based on an assumption, keep them guessing. They could never figure me out. I was never outwardly emotional about stuff. Whatever I was doing, it was, um, they could never figure me out. So I'm the same way politically. And I don't have a problem with readjusting my views based on new information. And I hate being lied to, and I just can't stand it. So if you're afraid of the truth, don't look for the truth. And I have no problem with that. And I find that a lot of people, that's their issue. They really can't. They can't either. They can't figure out the truth, or here's the truth, and they don't want to admit it. And I'm not afraid of either or.
Well, it's humbling to admit that you're wrong, and most people
Yeah, yeah,
aren't.
and
You can't be humble. They won't allow themselves to be humble.
that was a skill that I taught myself. Because how are you going to know what the truth is in your work environment? Who's lying to you, who's not? So what I did was I considered um, just different angles of the same situation. and I had an answer for each angle. So no matter what it was, I was able to deal with it. So if I needed to deal with my commander, I knew his position before I went to confront him.
Sure.
You know, what could he say? I already knew this. So having that mindset of considering the opposite of whatever you believed, that was something that kept me out of trouble. It kept me ahead of the game. It also helped me find the truth politically, because if you come across some information and it's counter to what you believe, how do you know what's true or not? Well, you investigate it from that position. You run it to this end and you either confirm or deny it.
Yeah.
I've already investigated this. I've determined that this is not true. And then you move on to the next thing. But a lot of people, sorry, they're not able to do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You see it all the time. I mean, truthfully, right, there's people who've been on the show, and it's not even whether they're right or left on issues, but a lot of people tend to post stuff that blatantly they have not fact checked anything. It's just like, I saw this headline, let me repost it. Instead of like, let me Googling, all right, what's the source? Where's this quote from? And like, like honestly, in all the years of us doing this podcast, whatever, 5+ years, for the most part, I'm sure I've gotten things wrong. So this isn't to say that I'm perfect, but I'm always very cognizant about like, I don't want to report on anything until I've actually looked into it. Because, you know, and people have hated an opinion I've had, or especially like when we had Jason Lyons on, people hate. But if something is factually incorrect, like, I don't want to put out that information. If I do, of course, I'm going to correct myself. But I think people just wait until it's too late. It's just like, this headline sounds like something I want to believe, and it sounds correct. So let me repost it. And there's so much of that nowadays without people doing not, and I'm not talking about experts fact checking them, like just fact check yourself. It's very easy to go on Google and find the source of the information before you put it up there.
Right. Another thing that I learned is that I don't do labels. So if you know, someone labels you a conservative, they're already putting you into this category of this is how you're going to react to things. You know, don't even call me that. Don't call me Black female. Don't call me, you know, and in my mind, I mean, I get how I appear, but I rebut all assumptions, you know.
Well, they're stereotyping you right there. They're just going to stereotype because of your race, because of your gender, because of your. It's like, no, you don't do that. Maybe I will fit the stereotype, but give it. You can't just right off the bat and think I'm going to be that stereotype, and that I understand what you're saying, and it pisses me off
that's
too.
And that's what I try to instill in especially young girls. Who cares what you look like? When I walked in the room, I don't walk in the room like I'm a Black female. Nope. I'm walking in the room like I'm equal or better than all y'all in here. I don't care what your rank is, but that was my perception. So it wasn't a matter of, you know, what I look like and presenting myself, because they see me. You see what I look like. So I'm gonna bring my A game, you know, and that's what I try to instill in young people. It's like, okay, we see you. What else you have? What else you got? You know, we don't need you to demand anything, especially women, females, girls. Don't walk in the room demanding stuff. We see you. Let's see your performance.
You guys are mean. You guys think men are mean. No, not even close. Do you think the military helped you with that though? Because you felt, hey, and I think the rank structure, you know, I think that does help. It does when you move up in rank. Because I am a sergeant, or I am a staff sergeant, I'm a lieutenant, I am a captain, I'm a master sergeant. So it's you're not relying on that. That is your gender and your race and your name. But it's good. It's not a bad thing. It really isn't. If you're moving up, if you've made that your career, if you've got out as a private, it's tough. Made a mistake. Maybe they don't see it that way. But when you moved up like you did, did that help? I'm assuming it did. I can't answer my own question, but I want to get your opinion as well.
Actually, it did, because so remember, I knew who I was as a person, and as I started encountering these hostile work environments, I decided that what is the common denominator? And that's me. So what am I doing that's causing me to have all these issues? And once I addressed every negative thing that could be me, I decided that I'm not the problem. It's them. And I carried that with me. I knew I wasn't the problem. It's not me. It's not my fault. And I always had the impression that, because I keep thinking of stuff, my uniform was my armor. And so when I walked in the building, when I walked in the office, my uniform precedes me, because we're all looking at each other. We're seeing what's on your jacket, what level of respect you give that other person. And I tested this one day, actually several times. I would go to work and I would take my airborne Pathfynder badges off and just walk around and just see what happens. And the difference, yeah,
Oh,
and there was a difference.
It is. No, it
Yeah,
is. You don't
yeah,
think
and it is a
look.
difference.
You look here, you look here, you look here, and
Yeah,
there's a different, but there rightfully there should be, because if you're a
right,
higher rank, you've put more time in, you've dealt with more
right,
shit, and you've
yes,
succeeded. This here as well,
right,
you've succeeded as well. There are some negatives. I get it. You get badges who give
yeah,
you get these, and then you get the guys that are just all badged up. Where it's like, okay,
yeah,
enough. I mean, there is that bell curve where it comes down. But you're exactly
yeah,
right, and you should feel proud. I feel proud when I have my Ranger tab and scroll on my. Of course, I feel proud. I definitely
yes,
I earned those. I did nobody's giving it to me, just
yes.
like your badges as well. So, but that's cool that you did that test. What did you? I mean, how obvious was it? When you're like you
Um,
took the stuff off, you walked in, or because did you actually feel something, or was there something inside saying, I'm gonna feel something? And then maybe kind of people that see ghosts but don't, but they want to believe they see
right,
ghosts. So
yeah.
seriously, I know I'm playing devil's advocate
Sure,
here. I'm breaking your balls, Master Sergeant, but still,
sure.
what specifically happened that you're like, okay, yeah,
It,
it's different. They're looking at me differently because they think I'm some private, and I'm actually got three up, three
mhm.
down, three up,
They,
three, two up, three down. Oh, is it
yeah,
two up, three down? Oh, yeah, three up, three down.
three up,
Yeah,
three
going on.
down.
Yep,
Yeah.
going on. Get into get what did specifically did you see? And hey, I completely agree. I know it happened, but I
Mhm.
just want to hear the story. I was like, what facial expressions did you see? And you went, did they do something? Were they more likely to help you? Where you could tell they were more, what's the word I'm looking for? They wanted to help you more than just, hey, there's this damn private bothering me because you don't have,
It was the visible
visit. There you go.
visible respect was
Okay.
more when I wore my badges. And just they just perked up. It wasn't that an expectation of anything different. It was just, let me see if there's anything that I noticed. I don't know why I did it, but I just wanted to see for myself if there was a difference, and there was.
Well, it's a good
And
test. It
and
is.
because of that, I knew I had to live up to it. That I had an obligation to live up to whatever it was, the impression that they had of me. And I learned, goodness, I had no idea that I had such an impact on people. I had no idea. And one of the guys that worked there, this was in Virginia, told me that so in the guard, we have what's called a order of merit list for all the E8s in the AGR program. And I had no idea. You kind of know, sort of,
Sure.
maybe. Um, but I learned this guy, he called me into the office and showed me the list. And I was at the top of the list. Like all the E8s in the guard, this order merit list, I was at the top of the list. I'm like, really? He didn't have to show that to me. And I thought, I must be doing something right. So I need to keep doing what I'm doing. And I just always felt obligated to not give them a reason to doubt my intelligence and my greatness. It won't be because of me or something I did. I'm not gonna give them a reason to treat
Sure.
me badly. Yeah. So when it happened, I wasn't taking it personal. I'm just gonna deal with you.
Yeah.
All right, when you do that though, when you set yourself for that standard, you have to maintain it. There's a double-edged sword. Or you could
Yeah.
be like Vince Vaughn in Dodgeball. When you aim and you lower expectations, you don't have to meet anything, and life is so good because you can just be
Yeah.
down here. But
Right.
once you're up there, yeah,
Yeah. And it
you
was
do.
more trying to be perfect so that they leave me alone so I could live up to my greatness.
Well said.
That's
Well, this is a book that I think is really going to resonate with our audience for sure, and it really goes to show that like as many military authors as we have on, like all of these books are very unique in their
Yeah.
own way. So
Hmm.
pick up Pathfinder. Follow on X. Really, you're most active on Facebook, but on X, MSG underscore Watkins 504. But then Facebook page is MSG Erinn Watkins with two N's in Erinn. And then if people want to see your dance stuff, it's at Petite Princess 92 on YouTube, erinspeaks.com. The book is available on Amazon. And then the last thing I'm seeing here is like you dance, 30-year military veteran, and then I see there's a guitar behind you. Do you play guitar as well?
yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, there's a program for veterans called Guitars for Vets. And I've always, since I was a little girl, I wanted to learn how to play the guitar. So this program is 10 weeks, I believe, and it's you one-on-one with an instructor teaching you how to play the guitar. And my instructor asked me what I wanted to play, and I said, I think I want to play Fast Car. He's like,
Oh,
okay,
nice.
good.
Okay.
I'm like, are you sure? And I was just saying, I didn't think he was serious. And 4 weeks in, I could actually play the notes of
Very cool.
yeah. So I
That's
could play
cool.
2 songs now.
Yeah, we've
That's
had on
cool.
Britt Lightning, who's actually the guitarist for Vixen, the current guitarist for Vixen, and she does this thing called Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp where they um not only teach people instruments, but then they have events where like they get on stage with the rock stars. And they've had like everyone. If you just go to her Instagram, it's crazy. They've
You
had
need to
like
get up there.
major rock stars and you get to go on stage and play with them as a part of this. It's pretty she would actually I have a feeling like because Britt is definitely very, pro-military and
Well,
stuff. Her
her
dad's a
father
veteran.
was,
Yeah,
yeah,
she'd probably be glad to have you be a part
she'd
of it if
eat you up.
yeah.
Heck yeah. You need to get
Yeah,
up
I'll have
on
to
Vix. That'd be cool. Man, and you go
It would be
and
pretty damn
he goes to
cool.
concerts still. So if you guys did a
All the
concert
time.
in New York or if he moves to Florida, when he moves to Florida, he'd come see you live. That'd be freaking cool, dude. Get pictures of you guys up there just
Dude,
jamming.
Vixen is about to, this is way off topic, but Vixen is about to open for Stephen Piercy and Warren DeMartini from Rat, who are doing their first reunion show right
Wow.
around here. So that, yeah, I may go see them again. But once again, guys, pick up the book. Really appreciate you coming on with us. It's
I
been a
wanted
great discussion.
I wanted to mention something, and just so people can have an idea of how angry I was. I came up with a name for it when I was in IOP in that counseling program. So every hour we worked on a different thing, and I was in the anger group. And so one day we come in there and there's all these colors and crayons and pencils and paper. And the instructor wanted us to draw what our anger looked like. Now I don't draw, I do stick people. That's about it. It's all I got. And so everybody's getting to work, they're drawing and coloring and doing stuff. I'm like, what do I draw? So I took one piece of paper and a pencil, black pencil, and I drew a head with no face, and I drew arms up like this with no hands. And I knew in my mind, every time I got intensely angry, I wanted to bang my hands or my fist on something as my outwardly expression of anger, but I could never do it because I couldn't portray myself as an angry Black female because that's a stereotype. So I was very internal, and I was always doing this. I could never connect, so I drew that, and after I drew it, I didn't see it again. But I came up with a name for it, and I called it the Incredible Hulk. So anytime I get angry, that angry. That's what it was. It was me being Bill Bixby trying to contain my anger.
The old Incredible Hulk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's date now. Yeah, sorry. Then
I
you're
was
dating
that
yourself
angry.
now. That's that was 30 years ago. So you did that to yourself, Erinn. All right. That's how old we are. That's all right
Yeah.
though. That's all.
Yeah.
But well, we are glad that you're getting over and you're finding ways to be positive. And yeah, I know a lot of us veterans, we have those angry days. So anything
Oh,
that can help us too.
I just thought of something else.
Go for it.
This is so huge. This is so huge. This is what I was doing, and I didn't know it was a thing. It's positive, being positive. Everything that happened to me, everything negative, I turned into a positive. Like everything. And I was doing this like all the time. And I didn't know that was a thing. And it's stoic. Stoic. So I didn't know that was a thing.
Stoicism.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. I turned every negative thought. I never left negative thoughts hanging out there. I addressed every one of them. Whatever it was, I had to follow it with a positive thought. And that was for me. It wasn't for them. I didn't care what they thought of me. It was how I built myself up. But that's what I was doing. Because who's gonna do it for you?
No, it's all about yourself.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Good
That was
idea.
so huge. Just everything. That was a habit. I didn't even know I was doing it until I got to IOP. And one of the people in the class, he said, Erinn, you always say something positive after every. I said, no, I didn't know that, did I? And that's
It's easier said than done, guys. Easier said
yeah,
than done, right? But
yeah.
no, good skill sets and good talk with you and good stuff in the book and nice smile, still smiling at the end of this right here. And we even dealt with adversity on the interview here with the phone crapping out and
Yeah.
and falling and battered. And we couldn't even talk in the original delay. She was 30-second delay. So we were trying to talk and we were like 5 questions in before we got an answer for one. So, but you would never know it because this was a wonderful interview. See, I followed it
Yeah.
up with something positive right there. I did.
That's it.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Erinn. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you
Appreciate
again.
Matt Sergeant. Thank you for coming on. God bless
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am. And tell your son again, congratulations. That's freaking awesome. And you get to go visit him in Daytona Beach. How awesome is that, Mom? That's
Awesome.
But take
Thank
care,
you.
ma'am. And it's wonderful finally meeting you too.
That's all for this episode of Battle Line Podcast. But we're always posting new content on social media. Follow us on Instagram at Battle Line Podcast and on Twitter at Battle Line Pod. That's an order. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes up every Tuesday. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or your podcast platform of choice. Believe in yourself. Face all challenges head on. And as always, never quit.